Hi there, welcome back to Glowing Up Shauna. I'm excited to be with you today. Thank you for watching. We're going to do a video today about foundation and color correction and concealer. Basically how to make your skin look the best you can make it look for your skin type, what you have going on. Everybody's different. So foundation is an extremely personal makeup product. Foundation and concealer are the two most personal things of makeup because everybody's skin is different, everybody's preferences are different, and there's so many options out there that you can choose from. So just so you know, I am 54. I have rosacea and a lot of redness, and I have hyperpigmentation from tanning as a teenager and sadly beyond. Just genetically, I have a ton of moles everywhere, which is also super fun. And as I've gotten a little older, my pores through this area have decided to enlarge. And that's also very fun. So trying to figure out how to sort of make all of that look a little better. Also color correction and bags under the eyes is a thing that most of us struggle with at our age as well. So sometimes you have the gray sort of blue dark eyes that we can, fix with color correction. And sometimes you have the puffy, and the puffy can't be fixed with color correction, but it can be fixed with that, not fixed, but helped to look sort of less swollen with that depuffer that I use from Dr. Idris. And just so you know, the skin prep that I did up until this point, I wrote all the products down and I'll have them written down and linked below so you can know what I did up until this point. But I covered skin prep in a different video. If you want to go back and watch that, that would be awesome. And okay, moving forward, let's start off with skin primer. Actually, first I'm going to put my hair in my little clips. I just got these. Nikki LaRose is a content creator. Well, she's a makeup artist. She's a professional makeup artist, and she is a working artist in LA, and she worked with BK Beauty and Lisa J to make her line of brushes that are called BK Beauty Nikki LaRose makeup brushes. And they are literally some of my very, very, very favorite brushes for makeup because they're designed by a makeup artist, and that makes a huge difference because she knows exactly what needs to happen. And then she just came out with these clips and some makeup brush holders that are great. So I'll link her stuff down below too. And then I highly recommend you watch her videos because she is a genius. Okay, starting off with primer. If you have these pores like I do that look to just make you look like you have just large pores in your face, you can do sort of a primer that's like a putty primer that sort of fills them in, for lack of a better term, and makes them look a little bit less obvious. Danessa Myricks is a brand that she's a makeup artist that's amazing, and I love her. She has this one that is, there's a brand, the style that you can get that's it's your color matched so to your skin, and you could sort of use it as foundation. This is really, really good if you have oily skin too. It comes with a little spatula on the front. You can see that, so you don't actually have to put your fingers into it. But since I'm just using this on me and I'm not a makeup artist, I just kind of go in. You don't need much of it if you just spread it in with your finger, just on where the pores are sort of the most visible. Like right here on my chin, on my sort of inner cheek, and right around my nose. She also has this same product in clear, which I'll show you. So for any men out there that don't want any color on their face, it's just called Universal. I believe they have a Universal Matte and a Universal Glowy. This one is the Universal Matte, which is so unlike me. I must have bought it before I knew about the glowy one. I think the glowy one is newer. So if you don't want color involved in your little primer, you can use the Universal one, and I really like it. You get a lot of product, and I've heard that people with oily skin love this product. I can't remember how much this is. I think it's less than $40, like maybe mid 30s. If you're looking for something less expensive that kind of does a very similar thing, there's an e.l.f. one called Poreless Putty Primer, and there's a Milani one that's called Milani Conceal and Perfect. These are both drugstore. I don't like them quite as well, to be honest with you, but if you are looking for something that is at a drugstore price that does, I mean, really similarly, not exactly, this is going to be your girl. And the Milani one just has a texture that is just like silicone-y and just so good. And a lot of people love this one. So it's purple, which is also kind of fun. And it just goes on like, it's like a mousse and slippery, like silicone had a baby. So it feels really good, and it's kind of a little addictive. So I do like these both, but if I had to choose, I would use Danessa. The other thing I struggle with a lot, like we already talked about, is my redness. And so there's a lot of redness correctors out on the market, and green is on the opposite side of the color wheel to red. If you look at the color wheel, you will notice that green is exactly opposite to red. So if you want to cancel something out, this is what I've learned by watching many YouTube videos about pro makeup artists, or from pro makeup artists, is that if you want to cancel out red, use green. If you want to cancel out blue, use orange. If you want to, so that. So when your makeup is a little too orangey, you color correct with blue or purple. So it's pretty amazing how the science works, and it's fun to kind of watch it be so helpful in your makeup routine. So for example, if you have a foundation that is just too warm on your skin, but you just spent, a lot of money on it and you can't return it for some reason, you can just color correct with a little bit of like a purple or a blue foundation. Like one drop will just bring down that warmness down to make it look more neutral and make it work for you. Like e.l.f. has those color correctors for $5 and all different colors that are really helpful if you need sort of something to fix the color of your foundation. The redness reducer that I'm currently trying is this one from Typology. It's kind of a serum-y. It has a little doe foot, so you just can put it right on your face. And so I literally just put it sort of right on the redness. And this product is more skincare related than anything. And it says that over time, it'll actually make the redness go away. I have just started using this, to be full disclosure, like probably 3 or 4 days ago. I saw someone using it, and so they gave it a great recommendation, so I bought it, and so I've just started using it. So I'll keep you posted on if it works or not. And what I mean by that is if it helps take the redness down, like in between times that I actually use the product, not if it helps to correct it, because I have noticed definitely it helps take a little of the redness away. And just to go over really quick, when you do your skin prep, in a perfect world, you're supposed to let that dry down for 15 minutes. So I know we're all busy and it seems like impossible to do your skin prep and wait 15 minutes before you can do your makeup. But what I try to do is just like space your life out to like put your skincare or do your skin prep and then your sunscreen, and then go make your coffee, go walk the dog, go make your kids lunch, go do something. If you have to drive your kids to school, do that, and then come back and do your makeup if you can. And so if it has been a while between the time you've done your skin prep, with the last step being your sunscreen, of course, and then it's dried down and it's been a minute and now your skin isn't feeling super moisturized, because you want your skin to feel dewy and moisturized when you are starting your makeup process. So one of the ones I really love, Rhode. Rhode is a brand that has really great, simple skin. My skin just loves all their products. So this one's called the Glazing Milk, and this is like a milky toner essentially, and you can either just put it in your hand and then go back in and put it all over your face. Or I have seen people when they're trying to, sorry, trying to put that top back on. When they're trying to like maybe thin out their foundation, like blend it together with their foundation. That is also really helpful. And then if you don't want to have to do this where you touch your face, like you've already put some products on and you just want it to be moisturized but not have to like push it into your skin, this one is the Glazing Mist. It's just the glazing milk, but it's in a pump, so you can, I love this stuff. So I love a mist. There's other ones I love too. Using the mist on your face to kind of just get it re-plumped and moistened before you go in and start is so helpful. And then throughout the day, throughout your makeup application, I also use a mist. And then throughout the day, I also mist on hydration, and it definitely is a game changer for your skin. So another product that I use is I love a glow to my skin. I think when your skin has a little bit of a glow, it makes you look younger, just fresher, kind of a little dewy, not sparkly, not like I have like glitter all over my face like I'm 20 and in a parade, but just a little glow that makes you just look healthy and fabulous. So my favorite product that puts glow on your skin is from Iconic London. As you can see, this one is really almost gone. And it's called Underglow Blurring Primer. And so if you didn't want to use the pore primer in addition to this, you totally don't have to. It depends on how worried about your pores you are. So you just take, it's in a dropper, and then you just rub it in all over. You can rub it in with your fingers, or you can use a brush. This brush is the Nikki LaRose N17 brush, and it's when you want to have a really light hand. It's a dual-sided brush, so the white tipped side is for creams and the black side is for powder. So it's a very useful brush because it is really good when you don't want to go in heavy with anything. If you want to go in with a heavier brush, which a lot of times I do for a foundation, we can use a different foundation brush. Let me show you that. There's lots of them. This foundation brush is the Haus Labs one, and I really, really like it. It is a little more dense. The thing with makeup brushes, it's all about the quality of bristle, but then the density. So like certain things that you want to really push in and put on a little heavier, you want a more dense brush. If you want it just to go on like really, really light, you want just a really like not packed brush that's really, really light. And it just makes a huge difference. So with foundation, most of the brushes are going to be a little more dense and they should feel good on your skin. And there's so many options, but I really like the Haus Labs one. So that is the primer, just kind of pushed in with the Iconic London, just adds a little glow. And then for my foundation, I always like to cocktail foundations because I like to put a little bit of full coverage, like sort of in this area. And then I really like a sort of lighter glowy around the perimeter when I don't need so much coverage. My absolute favorite foundation at this point in time is the Tom Ford Architecture Radiance. I wear the color Champagne. My skin is light to light medium neutral. So one of the things when you are figuring out your coloring so when you're buying foundation, you need to figure out your coloring. So there's either fair, light, light medium, medium, darker, so as your skin gets from light to dark, you sort of figure out where you are on the range. And of course, a makeup brand that has all the way down to the darkest dark skin is what we're looking for. We want people to be inclusive and support brands that are inclusive. So that's something that's important to me. Then you look at the actual product on what it's trying to do. There are some foundations that are like really lightweight, dewy, glowy, and there are some that go to like matte, like no glow, just very full coverage, and everywhere in between. So if you find a full coverage foundation that you love, but it's not something that you would put all over your face, you can cocktail it with something that you love that's more dewy and light and sort of make it the perfect combination for you. I always cocktail something. So a lot of times in the summer, as people want to wear like a skin tint or like a serum based, which is much lighter, and that is great when you don't want to have as much makeup on if you're out on vacation in the sun, whatever. You really want to focus on sunscreen first and foremost. There's a lot of tinted sunscreens that are a great option in the summertime. I mean, there's just so many different options. But back to what we're doing today, the Tom Ford foundation is my favorite because it gives a, you know, sort of medium coverage, and then it also has a little bit of a glow to it, and it just, honestly, when I put it on my skin, it just makes my skin look so beautiful and makes me like feel good. When I look at my skin, you know, 8 hours later, I feel like my skin still looks good. And then what I like to add one pump of is this Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Tint. I wear color 4.5, and I just put like a drop of that next to the Tom Ford, and then I use the top of my hand as a palette, as my palette for like blending it together. And then I go in, where you go in first is where you're gonna get the most coverage. So as we've talked about, my redness and sort of high traffic area of your face where you touch a lot and you eat, and like your mouth and your nose, like I am blowing my nose or touching my eyes, even though you're not supposed to, all day long. So like sort of the T-zone is where I get the most redness. So I go in there first and then blend out the foundation to the perimeter of your face. That's Charlie. I have two dogs, that's Sadie and Charlie. So you're gonna apply the first touchdown in the sort of center of your face or wherever you have your problem area. So if you have a lot of pigment on the outside that you're more worried about and you aren't worried about the inside of your face, start on the outside. Whatever you wanna do for you. Always bring your foundation down to your neck as well. You definitely wanna make sure, put a little on your ears. If your color match is perfect, then you don't have to do that as well, but you definitely don't want to have your neck be a different color than your face, and then your ears, especially if your hair is pulled back. You don't want to have pink ears and a tan face. Okay, so then that is the foundation blended, and then you go in with a color corrector. So the darkness under your eye right there is where a lot of the discoloration and sort of looking tired comes from. So we're gonna go in with an under eye balm and some color correction. Okay, so when you're going in under your eyes, I like to use a serum stick at the point that you start to have dryness under here like I do. So come in, I like this Dalba one. I love the Dalba truffle spray, and I love the Dalba, this one's called the Dalba Double Serum All-in-One Multi-Balm. Get this on Amazon, I'll link it below. Trust me, you'll love it. Color correctors. You can go high end, you can go middle of the road, you can go low end. So I have all three here to show you, and I'll link them. Natasha Denona was probably the high end. Morphe is kind of middle of the road, it's at Ulta, and then e.l.f. is $5. They all do the same thing, just a little bit different quality, I guess, of product. Like the Natasha Denona definitely is a like serum based, really nice, just like their concealer. So that one is more expensive, and then the e.l.f. one is $5. The Morphe, I don't remember, I think it's like $12. I think actually, to be honest with you, the Morphe is my favorite. So this one is Morphe, and it is in color Peach 02, and it's called Wake Up Artist Under Eye Correcting Concealer. For the brush I use for a concealer brush, I love the Nikki LaRose N19 brush. She designed the brush to look like you're using a powder puff shape, like your kind of your finger in the powder puff. And you just go in and just tap, tap, tap and blend it in. And you'll kind of just notice, like, if you have sort of bluing or purple veins or any discoloration that looks a little dark on your lids. I do my lid too. And then under that eye, sort of where that puff, I don't know if you have the same thing as I do, but I have this big like puff line. That's where you sort of want to focus your concealer more than up on the lash line. It's not necessarily, you don't want to go up there. And just kind of push this in. And you'll notice that the darkness just kind of starts to gently go away and makes your eyes look lighter and brighter. And honestly, I have had so many people that just by doing this one step feel like it age reverses them 10 years. The other thing that's magical for age reversing is that Lumify whitening drops, the eye drops that just take all the redness out of your eyes. Those make it look like you got 8 hours of sleep and feel like $1 million because you just look like boom, bright-eyed. Love those things. If you need spot concealing, the NARS pot concealer, mine is light 2A in Cafe au Lait. This stuff is definitely more full-bodied. It is really good if you have a blemish, if you have like a dark, so like right here, I have this like kind of hyperpigmentation spot. Like I would do something like that, or like just any marks on your face that you want to cover, any redness. Some people have like post-acne marks or hyperpigmentation that you just want to cover up. You don't have to put it everywhere, but if you want to spot conceal, this is great. The other thing I really love this for later down the line is I have some sort of discoloration on my lower lip from a little scarring that I have from having had cold sores, which suck massively. And so if anybody is in that ball game with me, this is a game changer for if you have, like, I don't have a specific scar that's like obvious, but to me, all that like discoloration of that line under my lip is from scarring. And so after I do my final like lip, I will go in with this and just kind of clean up that line and make it look much nicer, and it makes a big difference. So NARS Pot Concealer. And then for your actual concealer, I love the Maxine's Revenge French Face Concealer. This one is amazing. It's like super flexible. And so this one, you're gonna go in right here and sort of over here. Just kind of in the sort of inner nose bone area right here, and then bringing it out along the side of your, because you're kind of brightening with it over here. And then a lot of people, like makeup artists that I've watched, bring in brightening down the center of the nose, a little bit of the forehead, on the cheekbone, like right there, and then center of the chin, to kind of bring brightness at the center of the face and kind of use it to lift up a little bit. So you want to let that set down for a few minutes. Concealer gets more effective if you don't like put it on your face and then just blend it in right away. Just give it, you know, a minute or two and do something else while you're waiting. So like you can do your brows while you're waiting for your concealer to set down and then blend it in. It's been a couple minutes and I picked up one of my other very favorite concealer brushes, my Hourglass concealer brush. And again, you're just going to go in and tap, tap, tap. You're not swiping. And so you have this concealer over here that's kind of a brightening line to kind of lift. Everything about at our age, we want to lift things up instead of dragging them down, right? So we're going to put the light going up. And so all you're going to do is just take this part over here and just kind of marry it together with this part over here. Less is more when it comes to under eye products from a standpoint of concealer. You don't want to pack on too much concealer because it just looks gross and cakey and it looks obvious. So the slightest amount goes a long ways with especially a full concealer. Like an Hourglass concealer, I really love the Hourglass concealer, but if you literally use more than a dot, you look like you have so much concealer on. It's bad. So that's why I didn't use that one in this video, kind of as a starter, because it's a little bit more of a skill set to hold back. I am really bad about that. I kind of have a heavy hand. And so it took me a while to sort of learn that with all foundation and concealer products, less is more. You want to use the least amount you can to get the job done. If you cake it on, it just looks terrible on your skin. And people will notice your makeup and not your skin or your face. And they wanted to see you coming. They don't want to see your makeup coming. Okay, so then just blending in all the concealer. If I was doing a full face right now, I would do my blush, my cream blush, before I do the concealer, because it lets you kind of clean up any blush mistakes that you made with the concealer. But for right now, we're just focusing on foundation, color correction, and concealer. Okay, our full like face is on. Hydration is the key, especially when we're a little older and our skin is a little drier. This is the Dalba Vital Spray Serum White Truffle Skin Calming. As you can see, this is almost gone. I use this all the time. I love the smell. The smell just makes me happy. It's so gorgeous. And this stuff is just really great. You want to use a moisturizing spray throughout your makeup process just to keep things hydrated and moisturized and never looking dry. I also really like these two for that same purpose. There's an Anua one that is a Korean beauty brand. It's a PDRN one. This one's really, really good. And then this one I also really like. I got this on Amazon, also Korean, called Toki, T-O-K-K-I. Purple Rice PDRN Aurora Mist. So I'll link these all. They all do very much the same basic job. They're just hydration without having to have it touch you touch your skin to put it on. They just spray it on, and it's lovely. Especially once you get into putting your other colored makeup on with powder and stuff. You don't want your powder to look cakey, because that is something that we just all want to avoid, is having cakey makeup, right? So that's why the hydration mists are so important. Okay, we talked a little bit about picking the right color range for your foundation and your concealer. However, we didn't talk about undertone. Undertone is also very important. So something that you might do with someone at Sephora or Ulta or Nordstrom's counter or something, they might help you sort of determine your undertone. Basically, there's different undertones. Like neutral means that you can wear things that are warm and cool and they look okay on your skin. If you have a cool undertone, so like more blue, light pink base, like looks really good on you, that's a cool undertone. And like warm is like more orangey, yellowy. Like if you look at when you're buying your makeup on a like website or Sephora app or whatever, and you look at the different colors of the foundations trying to figure out which one is for you, look at what it says for the color and the undertone. So it'll say like light cool, light warm. To get even more specific, detailing, there's like an olive undertone, which means you just have a hint of green in your skin. It's often, pretty common in like Mediterranean genetics. So I sometimes will do like a light medium. I'm neutral. But I also, if there's like a peachy option, because of my redness, I sometimes get the peachy option if they have it, and it always looks really good on my skin. So you want to pick the foundation and concealer that is going to match your skin color and also match the undertone, and that will be the best on your skin. And then also, if you have like really oily skin, you don't want to probably choose a super dewy foundation, because it's just going to slide off your face, right? Because with a dewy foundation plus the oil from your skin throughout the day is going to be a bad combo. So a lot of people that have more oily skin prefer a more matte foundation. On the other side, if you have really dry skin, you would prefer, most likely, a dewy foundation that is going to be hydrating and bring, you know, plump dewiness to your skin. So everybody's different, and that is the beauty of beauty and all of us being different. And you just kind of have to play around and see what works best for you. I also believe that there's a price point and really, really good products for everybody's budget or preferences. Some people spend $300 on a pair of shoes, but they want to buy, you know, their makeup for $10 or less. And some people don't care about their bags and they want to buy luxury makeup. And it doesn't matter to me. You do you, because I love it all. And so I will try to show all the things. A lot of the drugstore makeup now is extremely good and just as good in some cases as the luxury or Sephora, Nordstrom's sort of higher end products. But then if you like that sort of feel of the packaging being a little bit upgraded, you know, everyone's just different. So I'm not here to judge. I like it all. I do love a luxury product. I've generally started my life using luxury products. And now that I've learned a lot, I have seen so many things that are drugstore that are actually really, really good. And I can't say a bad thing about a lot of them. So, and some of them I like better, to be honest. So it just depends on the product and what your preference is. So the other thing I was mentioning earlier is that when you get a little older and your eyes start to be not as effective, which I have definitely experienced, I recommend highly getting a magnifying mirror. And they're all different in, like, there's some 10%, there's some are like 10 times, there's some 5 times, there's some 3 times, there's some, you know, my sort of perfect preference is the 7 times magnification. And I like one with a light. I found a few at like TJ Maxx or something, and then I have found a couple on Amazon that I really like. So don't obsess over the magnification. No one is seeing you at 10-time magnification. So I stress that. Please don't make yourself insane. However, when you are applying your makeup and foundation, I do really like to take a look. I keep mine right here next to me. Take a look into the mirror and just, sorry, I have to look away from you when I'm looking in it. And just sort of make sure that there's not any big like smudgies that your normal eyes don't see because you are now in your 50s or 60s or 40s and, you know, wearing reading glasses and can't see things. If you come back in and you're blending out your makeup and you realize, okay, I have my foundation on, but there's a couple spots that I still want to put a little extra, you can go in with either a stick foundation or like a pot concealer. That NARS pot concealer is great. So one of my very, very, very favorite stick foundations is the Dior. It is the Dior Forever Skin Perfect, and I wear the 2N, so 2 and then N means neutral. So if you're looking for makeup products, the W means warm, the N means neutral, C means cool, O means olive, P means peach, Y means yellow. Different brands do different things. But if you want just a little extra coverage, just right in that cheek area where it's like, oh, I have some redness still and it's not being covered or whatever, this one is really hydrating. It's moisturizing. It's not drying at all, because some of the sort of early generations of stick foundations were really matte, kind of drying, and that's why they got a little bit of a bad rep. But now they're like really soft. By the way, this brush is from a brand called Toolbox. There's a makeup artist named Haus, and she's pretty amazing and hilarious to watch, and I love her videos. She put out a line of makeup brushes called Toolbox, and I love them too. There's a lot of brushes, and I have a lot of brushes, so you just don't need to buy all the brushes that I have, but I'll do a video at some point of my absolute like holy grail favorites, the ones I would recommend. But if you want to buy, if you're just starting on your makeup journey and you want to buy inexpensive brushes that are like, I think really good quality considering the really, really good price point, e.l.f. has some really good brushes. Okay, so back to the foundation. So we just put the the Dior stick just kind of right here where we just wanted to add a little bit extra oomph there. And Now I feel like that redness and the extra little hyperpigmentation that I have there is kind of now gone. See how it looks just a little bit different? Now, if you wanted to come back in and add more glow, there's lots of glowy products that I love. The Charlotte Tilbury sort of was the very first one that came out with the Hollywood Flawless Filter. The Hollywood Flawless Filter is really glowy. It comes in like a doe foot like this, so I just wipe it on my hand. If you wipe things on your hand as the top of your hand as your palette, and then pick it up from the brush and go onto your face from there, it gives you so much more control. This is supposed to be a makeup product that imitates, excuse me, the filter on your phone of like perfecting your skin, okay? So that's why it was made. She made it for people that were like on photo shoots and stuff like that to basically create a filter in real life. This is $50 and you can buy it at Charlotte Tilbury or Nordstrom's. I love this product. However, they have had, I don't know, every company in the world has done a dupe of this because this has been so successful, or their own version of it, let's say. So the one I have right here that's a lot less expensive is a company that I really love called Revolution Beauty. Has the same doe foot, really very similar. And you can come in and just for I think this one's maybe $14 and have virtually the same thing where you just add a little glow in the highlights of your cheeks. If you would rather have the Charlotte Tilbury almost exactly the same as the Hollywood Flawless Filter, but in a stick form, this Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint is really, I think it's just the Hollywood Filter in a tint, so you can come on the cheeks or wherever you want glow and just put it on there. It really does add just sort of a dewiness and a dimension to just make you look kind of younger and just feel a little bit better. And then just kind of blend everything out. And then when you are done with that and another spritz of moisture mist, then you're done with your complexion. And then we're going to go back in and add in the color back into your face. Now that we've taken out all the things you don't want to see, the redness, the dark spots, the, blemishes, the scars, all that. Now we're going to go back in and put the color on our face and bring us back to life. But that is foundation, color correction, and concealer. And I hope that helps. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment box and I will try to answer them. Please also like and subscribe. Turn your notification bell on. Let me know your skin type. Let me know what you love. What's your favorite foundation? Everybody has different ones. Different makeup brands are always coming out with new foundations, and yeah, there's so many options. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you learned something. Tell me what you learned down below. All right, thank you so much. Bye.